Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is my review of Windows 8.1. And if you've used Windows 8 and you like it, well, you're probably going to like Windows 8.1 too. Now, if you didn't like, 8.1 as well, not to be confused with any future Windows 8.1.2 release. Hasn't been released yet that I know of. Anyway, Windows 8.1. I would say that Microsoft improved upon Windows 8, so if you liked Windows 8 in general on your PC, then I'm assuming you're also going to like Windows 8.1, since Microsoft went in and changed a few things that might make the experience better for you if you liked Windows 8. If you did not like Windows 8, if you were frustrated by Windows 8, I can't say that Windows 8.1 is going to change your mind, since unfortunately it's still a bifurcated UX, or as some people call it, a bit schizophrenic. I'm not the only one to say that, and I'm not taking away from your experience. I'm just saying outright, Windows 8.1 is an incremental improvement over Windows 8. It's just not a radical change. Probably the biggest change that you're going to see in Windows 8.1, and you can see I'm running this on my Surface, I guess Surface Pro, the first Surface, the one running on the Intel platform. The biggest change on the desktop is the addition of this, a start button. No, the start menu is not back. It's simply just a start button to take you back to the start screen. Now, I could, of course, slide through and show you the other apps that I have running in the background, or slide through and back to jump through the various apps that I've been running, and I wanted to dive into a few of those, if only to show you some of the improvements that Microsoft has made with Windows 8.1 over Windows 8. If you liked Windows 8, 8.1 is an absolute must download. If you did not, you could try it again. I just don't think your experience is going to change all that much, despite Microsoft going through and adding a few things that I think could be helpful, including the addition of the start button for people who were confused when they jumped to the desktop for the first time, wondering, oh, where do I get to the start menu again? Well, there's no start menu. This is the start menu. It's a start screen. That's the way Microsoft wants to play it, and if you're fine with that, well, okay. Who am I to say that you're not? Some of the things that I also appreciate Microsoft fleshing out a bit more: the PC settings, or the traditional control panel. It's got a few more features now available to you in the modern experience compared to the classic desktop. Let's see if I can flip back to the desktop here and open up the control panel. If I can figure out how I get back to it. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Open control panel right there from the Explorer. So they've taken more of the traditional control panel settings on the desktop and pushed them into the PC settings in the modern experience, which makes it a bit easier for you to not have to navigate between. Oh, I guess I accidentally closed the desktop there. No big deal. So they've improved the settings for you in one experience over the other. Because remember, again, Windows 8 or Windows 8.1 is really a combination of two user experiences: the classic desktop and the new modern UI. So some of the things that I really thought were kind of cool were the addition of new default apps, like the Bing health and fitness apps. Look at that. A diet tracker, nutrition and calories, exercise tracker. You can even store your drugs in Windows 8.1, or at least like your prescriptions. I don't think that it would be for illicit drugs. Although, you know, in the state of Washington, marijuana is now legal, which might explain a few things. So let's go ahead and flip back here. Oh, I guess I closed that too. All right, I wanted to show you another one of the new default apps, which I actually kind of liked as well. Where is it? If I can find it. I could also search for it, which would be just as easy, but a food and drink app, which I think I have a shortcut for on my start screen. This, I think, speaks to Microsoft trying to complete the default experience for a new user, or maybe a user of Windows that is just trying to figure out, well, why should I upgrade to Windows 8 over older versions of Windows? And by adding these new, delicious looking default apps, I think only enhances the Windows experience. So the Bing food and drink app allows you to store collections of foods, you know, like if you want to collect food, if that's a big deal for you, or you can add a recipe, a shopping list, or have today's meal plan. So it's really speaking to Microsoft trying to approach the personal computer, the PC, as a lifestyle enhancer. And I think that's a very good thing for Microsoft to do. It really was very nice to see in the addition of Windows 8.1 over Windows 8. Now we also have Reader, Reading List, and something quite nice in the modern experience, a sound recorder, as well as we also have alarms there right at the front. You can now set alarms. Quite nice. So again, you know, the enhancements Microsoft has made are going to be beneficial for those of you who have been using Windows 8 and are just wanting something a little bit more out of the box that you haven't been able to experience or download through the store directly at this point in time. You can also tweak the tiles on the start screen in a different, I guess, a variety of ways. Super, super small, super large, and of course in between as well. A few more options there, and of course the organization options are still as they were within Windows 8 in general. Now, the biggest change, and I think this really speaks to Microsoft's, as I call it, in terms of reviewing an operating system revision, forward thinkingness. They have integrated SkyDrive at such a level. Oh, I guess I need to log into my Microsoft account, which I'm not going to do right now for this. They integrated SkyDrive at such a level where you're using this Windows 8.1 PC or computer, this tablet, whatever you want to call this thing, and SkyDrive is just there. Like, you save a file and it's in SkyDrive. And the idea is, and I think this is very, very smart and very, very, very good for Microsoft, when you save a file, it's saved to the cloud. So you don't have to worry about which Windows computer, which PC you use to get to your files. You don't need to think about it. It's in your SkyDrive, because inevitably, and at this point in time, we are, as society, as consumers, thinking, well, we need to get a hard drive or an SSD or something, local storage where we store our files. Well, increasing, or I should say on an increasing basis, we're keeping our files, or we're being, I guess, moved along to keeping our files remotely, which makes it easier to interoperate between different devices, different services, different platforms. And Microsoft was very smart to make SkyDrive a part of that Windows 8.1 experience that you really couldn't peel away. So if you're not a fan of the cloud, you're probably not going to be a fan of a lot of operating systems these days, because that's the way we're going. Instead of having the files on this computer, I could get to them from anywhere. And Microsoft has made that conduit to the cloud as seamless as they possibly could make it. And of course, that's going to get better over time. So in terms of forward thinkingness, I have to give Microsoft props for integrating SkyDrive at such a level within the operating system itself, which again, it speaks to the future trend for how we, or I guess current trend to the future, how we think about getting to the data that we need to get to. We don't want to think about how we get to it. We just want to get to it. Microsoft is making it easier in that sense. In terms of speed, I can't say that my Surface or any other computer that I've used Windows 8.1 on felt faster, didn't feel slower. It felt better. It felt more complete. In fact, when I downloaded the first consumer preview for Windows 8.1 they made as a beta, I didn't even want to use a Windows 8 computer anymore, because I felt that the amount of features that they fleshed out early on were enough to tell me, like, yeah, I really like the new set of features, or at least the improvements that I've kind of already spoken to already in this particular video. So Windows 8.1 was just a myriad of improvements. Though speed, I can't say if there was any changes. They were certainly not noticeable. Same would go true with battery life as well. Not really an improvement or necessarily a decrease in battery life. In terms of cohesiveness, and I do not want to belabor this point, I've already spoken to my belief that Microsoft is absolutely making a mistake in splitting the user experience with a very beautiful UI. Remember, UX and UI are two completely different things. I love the user experience in the modern UI. However, when I have to pop to a desktop, I just feel like I'm taking a trip back in time. So in terms of cohesiveness, they didn't necessarily address that. And for some people, the addition of the start button just wasn't enough. If you do want a full-on start menu, there are plenty of apps out there. However, the best start menu, Windows 8 experience that I found on traditional PCs, that would be non-touchscreen PCs like a Surface, the best experiences that I've seen have been through Parallels. You can download that. I've got a link for you in the video's description. go.tagjag.com/parallels for Windows or OS X users. If you want a full functioning start menu, and really if you want to run these modern UI applications as windowed apps, you could. Hey, look, someone made the Locker Gnome Reporter app for free in the Windows App Store, which I was quite happy about, and it still works on Windows 8.1. Very nice if you want to stay up to date on everything we're doing throughout all of our social feeds. I love the community, you guys. I don't care what you use. I really don't, because use anything to get to what you want. That's the idea. So in terms of issues, can't say that I had any outstanding issues in Windows 8.1. That would be like crashes, things that didn't work. Of course, I say that as I'm trying to jump back to the start screen and it won't go. Nothing more than I would have experienced in Windows 8. I haven't really found any particular hiccups that had not been addressed, or at least had not been covered in Windows 8 problems within Windows 8.1. Look at that. The desktop. Yay! Back to the desktop. Back to the start screen. This is all I'm doing. Just jumping back and forth. So in terms of issues, I don't think you're going to run into any. The only thing that I would be very careful about is the apps that you absolutely need. If you check the app developer's website or their changelog or whatever, you just want to check to make sure that it is going to be fine with Windows 8.1. But my guess is if it worked fine in Windows 8, it'll work fine in Windows 8.1. I think there were bigger issues or compatibility issues in moving between Windows 7, or certainly like Windows Vista or Windows XP, to Windows 8 versus moving from Windows 8 to 8.1. I wouldn't say that there has been anything dramatic in that sense, so don't let that keep you from updating to Windows 8.1. In terms of rollbackedness, as I like to call it, I mentioned, I felt that after I used the first beta of Windows 8.1, I didn't want to use Windows 8. That says it all. If you have Windows 8, update to Windows 8.1. I think you're going to be very happy with the improvements. In terms of value, it was a free update. Again, what's not to like about a free software update in terms of changing the user experience for the better, or at least improving them in places, or the user experience in places that needed a bit more improvement? Windows still has a ways to go in terms of making it a more cohesive user experience and lessening that impact of these dramatic user experiences between the traditional desktop and the newer modern UI. And I think eventually Microsoft will get there. They're not there with Windows 8.1. That being said, I don't think that takes away from the value of Windows 8.1 over Windows 8. So overall, I give Windows 8.1 as far as a revision to Windows 8 an absolute thumbs up. There's nothing that you should be frightened of. Give it a shot. Now, again, just my experiences. Everyone's got different experiences, and we can have these experiences and share our thoughts without necessarily clobbering each other in the process. I think I've pretty much said everything I needed to say, so let me remind you again that I appreciate when you remember to like, comment, and share the videos that we're doing for you.